Good morning. It's so good to gather together on this beautiful day as the Unity Temple Unitarian Universalist congregation. I'm Reverend Alan Taylor, and I'm so glad you're joining us. And I encourage you to join us on Zoom following the service. The link will be in the live chat at the end of the service. And today we will begin a new format of our virtual coffee hour, engaging our community as a whole and then in small groups with suggested questions, and Tina Lewis moderating.
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Brumersky, and I am on the Board of Trustees at Unity Temple. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to our virtual service this morning. At Unity Temple, our values are connection, transformation, justice, and acceptance. If you are new to our congregation, then I invite you to contact Tina Lewis. She is our Director of Membership and Engagement. She can be reached at tlewis@unitytemple.org. I also invite you to explore our website, unitytemple.org. Please leave your electronic devices on and join us for a virtual coffee hour after service. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
If you have a chalice, I invite you to get it now. This month, we're exploring the theme of thresholds. And so may we light our chalices for the beginnings and endings among us, as well as the luminous time in between.
We are Unitarian Universalists. We are the church of the open minds, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. We take care of planet Earth and each other.
Do not leave your cares at the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Oh, bring your pain and sorrow and joy. There's a place for them upon the altar of life. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. This is a place of grace, a place for losing and finding our way upon the winding road. Meeting and parting, stumbling and starting over. Every story is sacred here, even yours. So come on in and do not leave your cares at the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Gather in, breathe deeply, and center down. Do not leave your cares at the door. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Bring your pain and sorrow and joy, for this is a community of grace, of losing and finding our way, stumbling and starting over. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your life journey, you are welcome here. May we open our hearts, our minds, our souls as we gather for worship on this glorious day. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing with Marty Swisher, Guide My Feet.
Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. Guide my feet while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain, race in vain. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. Hold my hand while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain, race in vain. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. Stand by me while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain, race in vain. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. Search my heart while I run this race. For I don't want to run this race in vain, race in vain.
Love is the doctrine for this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and its service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end of all cells shall grow into harmony with the Father. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
Hi friends, I'm going to talk to you this morning a little bit about doors. This is a special door to me because it's a door to our front house. And I don't know if you know this, but this part of the door it's called a threshold. And it's the place where you pass from one space to another space, or one time to another time, or one feeling to another feeling. So when I walk in this door, most of the time I feel a sigh of relief, like I am home. And I wonder about your door and how you feel when you cross the threshold into your house. This is another important door for our family. This is Hatch Elementary School, where my son goes to school, and school doors are big thresholds. I know that when I used to walk through the school door, I would have to put away the playground and all that stuff and go in and start learning. And maybe you feel like that when you get to go into school, nervous and excited and all those feelings. So I invite you to think about your own school thresholds this morning. This is one of my favorite doors in Oak Park. I hope that you recognize this door. It's to our own Unity Temple. And I'm imagining how I feel on a Sunday morning when I walk through this door. I always feel happy when I go inside to see all the people that are in there. Sometimes I'm nervous about what's going to happen on Sunday morning, but it is a happy feeling. I hope that you can think about this door and think about those feelings that you have when you cross the threshold of this door at Unity Temple. So there are lots of doors and thresholds and places that we go through in our daily lives and in real life, but there's also lots of thresholds in books and games, ones that take us into totally different worlds. And I thought of some of those. One of them is from C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is a whole series of books. And Peter and Susan and Edmund and Lucy go through the back of a wardrobe, which is basically a clothes closet, into the land of Narnia and find a whole new world. It's pretty amazing. And I also thought, of course, of Harry Potter. And Harry Potter and his friends are in the Muggle world, but then when they go through the column at King's Cross Station onto platform 9 3/4, then all of a sudden they're in the magical world and they can take the Hogwarts Express to their school. And then in Minecraft, you can build a portal to the Nether or the End. This is a portal to the End. Those are other worlds in Minecraft. I also thought of like the Phantom Toll Booth and the Magic Treehouse books, and Sonic the Hedgehog has those rings that he can travel through. And when you're going through a threshold, whether it's to another magical world or just a place in real life, it's a good time to think about kind of what you have left behind or what you want to leave behind and what you want to bring with you. We're in kind of an in-between time now as we are sheltering in place. And thresholds is the theme for May, which turns out to be perfect. So it's a great time for us to be thinking about our lives now and what we want to take with us into the new future and what we want to leave behind as we contemplate the days when we will not be sheltering in place. So I invite you to think about all those thresholds in the days and weeks ahead. Thank you.
Each week we hold a space for holding each other in our hearts and for the prayers of the people. Who are you holding in your heart at this time? What prayers do you carry? You may share them in the live chat if you wish, and I'll share what people have communicated with me this past week. Sue Stock shares that she will be moving to Champaign, Illinois in mid-June. She has accepted a new job at the University of Illinois. While she is excited about this next chapter of her life, it is with sadness and gratitude that she leaves Oak Park and Unity Temple. She says, "Thank you to all who have embraced my family in so many ways over the last 50 years." Michael O'Connor writes that Fora is grateful for the 80 volunteers that are tutoring the children of Rohingya refugees virtually. And there are still many children to match up with tutors. If you have an hour, 5 days a week until the beginning of September, please let Reverend Alan Taylor, that's me, know. John Tandrich shares that his right side is stubborn following the stroke he had on April 8th. He will be kept at Rush Oak Park, room 408, for the coming month. Grateful for the excellent hospital staff giving him 4 to 5 hours of therapy each day. He says he's also grateful for the calls and cards, and he says every call helps him improve his ability to talk. Peter Benedetto shares that his brother John is still in the ICU after his heart surgery for a bacterial infection, but fortunately has just been taken off a ventilator. And the family welcomes prayers and healing energy. Terry Miller writes, "The landscape of who needs critical nutrition and how they get it has changed rapidly over the past few weeks. The need for food assistance is increasing daily. Many neighbors are visiting our food pantry, Beyond Hunger, for the first time, and many of those served are being hit hardest by the COVID-19 infection. In response, Beyond Hunger has tripled their home delivery program to over 300 households and asks for your support in spreading the word that they are here for those in need." Tom McCann and Sarah Harmon Both healthcare workers who contracted COVID-19 are now feeling much better. Sarah returns to work tomorrow, while Tom will take another week for rest. And they ask for healing energy and prayers for Sarah's adult daughter, Erin, who is living with them and is now ill with the virus. Please continue to keep the family of Janine Bowersmith and Ken Hooker and Linda Whiteko in your thoughts. Janine and Ken's father, Kenneth C. Hooker, aged 91, died last Sunday afternoon, just 10 days after the passing of their mother, Irene, his wife of 70 years. The family deeply appreciates the many expressions of love and support they've received from our community during this difficult time. Here in the Chicago area, the following people were reportedly killed between April 26th and May 1st. LaShawn Blakemore, age 25. Cavante Burnett Williams, 29. Julius Gray, 29. Samuel Catherine, 32. Maurice Logan, 25. Daniel Patrick, 27. Mario Williams, 36. May we keep their families and others touched by violence in our prayers. May we also pray for the perpetrators and the impact the violence will have on their lives as well. And this past Thursday, the community of congregations invited the wider community to share names of dear ones who have died over the last 6 weeks and whom could not be mourned adequately, properly by those that loved them. 85 names were shared. May we hold in our prayers all those who are mourning the loss of a family member or a friend and cannot gather with others to grieve at this time.
Spirit of life and love, we give thanks for the gift of this day. Another in a long, long line of days where most of us, if we are not out doing essential work, are sheltering in place. Our days, like our hearts, are full of a jumble of joy, confusion, anxiety, fear, hope, and so much more. May we find the patience and courage and strength to make the choices that keep us safe and healthy. We send our love and care and healing wishes to all those who are sick and dying. Help those who are physically alone and isolated to know that they are not alone, but held by the love and care of so many close by in spirit. May we take comfort in the beauty and new life awakening around us, halfway between the beginning of spring and the beginning of summer as the warmer days unfold around us. We honor the work that each of us does with our hands and hearts, each of us helping to shape the world we are in through all of what we do and all of who we are. May we know that we each make a difference, that we are empowered by this community, and that we are surrounded by love both this day and all our days. Amen. Blessed be.
Good morning. My name is Alice O'Cray. I would like to share some thoughts that have been on my mind lately. Witnessing the first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, in action by many of the congregants of Unity Temple, resonates with me and is the reason I became a member. Concern for each other, neighboring communities, immigrant rights, prison reform, and our precious earth is what keeps me here. As a pastoral associate, I am privileged to be a listening ear for people who are struggling from time to time. However, I often notice members of this beautiful congregation pastoring someone struggling. As coordinator of the My Hat support group, I am awed by the ongoing compassion toward folks that gather monthly, as well as for someone who just dropped in once but leaves with a sense of belonging. Everyone benefits from a listening ear from time to time. However, now that we are social distancing, this challenge needed to be addressed even more. I am so happy that Unity Temple is helping so many to stay connected through Sunday services and coffee hour. Reverend Allen and others also provide a listening ear for all those who Zoom into Tuesdays at 2 and Thursdays at 3, sessions of compassion, listening, and sharing. Mondays at noon, Soul Connections, and a host of other groups are helping us navigate this challenge to our new way of functioning. The Mindful Reflection community has always been a way for me to connect spiritually, yet the daily 20-minute meditations facilitated by Terry Kinsey and others is unquestionably helpful to me during this time of self-isolation. For over 8 years, Unity Temple has always been nurturing, yet I feel that now it is supporting me more than ever. I try to reciprocate as a volunteer and financially because this congregation really needs our assistance. In A Chosen Faith, the authors state, "Perhaps the best thing about being a Unitarian Universalist is that when we learn new things, we are encouraged to update our point of view." I am so grateful that during this unprecedented time of physical, emotional, and social alteration of our lives, Unity Temple is supporting us now more than ever.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change of life from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time now we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change from deep within the earth. It is time now, it is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Yeah.
Would you take a deep breath with me? And another. Instead of a reading this morning, our text shall be our own bodies and spirits. If you will join me in moving with your breath, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and breathe in. And as you are able, reach out your arms and up, and breathe out as your arms come down. And trying that again, breathing up and out. And again, up and out. And now in the other direction, breathing in and out. And as you continue this motion with the breath, notice what is happening in your body. Notice if your body wants to move in a certain way. Just notice whether you want to stretch. Just come into your body and come and deepening your breath and coming to stillness, still paying attention to what is happening inside you, allowing the breath to continue to deepen, considering how your breath is the spirit within you. For where our breath and our body and our mind are all one, is that not where the divine dwells within each of us? Each day, may you take some time to move and let the breath move you through, and then find stillness, allowing the breath to deepen to the point of gratitude, deep gratitude. Gratitude for our lives, gratitude that we're able to connect with each other, even at a distance. A couple of months ago, I wasn't sure about this month's theme of thresholds, but now it feels like together we are living amidst a really significant threshold, and it's not clear what's on the other side. What is a threshold? As Emily shared, doors are thresholds. Did your heart jump like mine when you saw the Unity Temple door? That's a threshold I so look forward to crossing with you all. And that day will arrive. Thresholds can be both literal doors and metaphorical doors, a point of entry or a beginning. A threshold is often a time that marks a new beginning. For example, when all this physical distancing began, March 13th, for those of us in Oak Park, that day marked a threshold for our community. And now that the world has slowed down to prevent the spread of a virus and our state has entered what looks like will be months of physical isolation, the question begs, what threshold are we currently crossing? What will our lives and the world look like when we can all return to Unity Temple safely? What will be the state of our world, our community, our congregation? And during this in-between time, when most of us are sheltering in place and eating all our meals and spending not only our days, but also all our evenings at home, we are in the midst of a prolonged period of quiet reckoning. For those of us stuck at home, this is an opportunity to see ourselves and our habits up close, if we're willing to pay attention. And during this in-between time, what do you want to keep close? And what do you want to let go? Because I'm with my kids more intensely than ever. My habits of shouting back at them have been in stark relief. And I want to let go of that habit of losing my cool when they're being obnoxious or oppositional towards me. And over the years, I developed a bad habit of eating breakfast, and sometimes other meals, while standing up in the kitchen. I want to let this go. And during the pandemic, I'm getting the kids up early enough so that we can eat together before I need to jump into work. So what do you want to let go? What do you want to keep? I want to keep my spiritual practice of an early morning hour of breathing, moving, meditating, and praying. And secondly, I'm now cooking more, and I hope to keep that practice as well. How about you? Although we don't know what awaits our nation and world on the other side of this pandemic, we have personal agency, how we shall travel through this threshold time. And it behooves us to pay attention to what is going on in the wider world. And there's clear indications that the economy won't be the same, that a lot of people will be especially vulnerable to hunger, to homelessness, to addiction, to mental illness. And so the question tugs at my heart and others. How can we pattern our lives so that we can honestly serve others? There are plenty of opportunities, such as tutoring refugee children, doing errands for people who are especially vulnerable, donating to Beyond Hunger, and the list goes on and on. I've always believed that the spiritual walk is to develop lives of integrity, service, and joy. And the task of the religious community is to cultivate hope and courage, strength and compassion within and among us. And as a congregation, we companion one another and listen one another to a deeper awareness of how we are living into our deepest values. Now, there's a second definition for threshold: the magnitude or intensity that must be exceeded for a certain reaction, phenomenon, result, or condition to occur or be manifested. Environmentalists have been warning us for years that there are thresholds of global warming, the Earth's warming, and weather patterns. At the same time, there are spiritual teachers and writers predicting a tipping point that will wake more and more people up to just how interrelated we are, and our culture will change. Did you catch what Doug and Janet were just singing? The song was called "We Will Be Known by the Company That We Keep." It's by the group Mammoose. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. This phrase, the great turning, was coined by Joanna Macy, a Buddhist scholar and environmentalist activist. And the great turning refers to a critical mass of people ready to turn from empire to earth community, from an industrialized economy that depletes the earth's resources to a sustainable one that recognizes the interdependence and inherent worth of all people. Might our world be in the great turning? Might enough people be so? Now, it's hard to be an idealist and a news junkie. Some countries appear to be falling into the great unraveling rather than the great turning. Many people are gathering in protests in our country demanding their freedom without masks. But this is in reaction to the greater numbers of people who are taking part in a mass action of love for the sake of the well-being of all. In developing countries, the impact of the pandemic appears even more perilous. In India, the government didn't take the pandemic seriously for weeks. And then the newly elected prime minister, a Hindu nationalist, declared a lockdown with only 4 hours' notice, shutting down both public and private transport. Immediately, literally millions of workers headed for home by foot, only to find state boundaries closed. The novelist Arundhati Roy describes the utter mayhem and horror in an article called "The Pandemic is a Portal." She ends her extraordinary article with these words: "Whatever it is, coronavirus has made the mighty kneel and brought the world to a halt like nothing else could. Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for a return to normality, trying to match our future to our past and refusing to acknowledge the rupture. But the rupture exists. And in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Nothing could be worse than a return to normality. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine the world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our databanks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or we can walk through lightly, with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. John O'Donohue, the late Catholic poet, notes, if you go back to the etymology of the word threshold, it comes from threshing, which is to separate the grain from the husk. So the threshold, in a way, is a place where you move into more critical and challenging and worthy fullness. This is a time to identify what is essential to our lives, what is worthy of our efforts, and what kind of community and world do we want to help usher forth. I conclude by inviting you into a short prayer. O Spirit of life, source of all love, eternal mystery of God within, among, and beyond us, here we are on the verge of incredible changes that we cannot comprehend. Help us to reach out and to reach in for strength, compassion, and wisdom as we navigate the uncertain roads ahead. Turn us toward gratitude, gratitude for our lives, and lead us to travel lightly through the portal this pandemic has created. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. May we cultivate peace within our hearts and in the wider world. Each week, we give our Sunday collection to an organization that aligns with our values, and this Sunday's collection benefits Sarah's Inn. Sarah's Inn improves the lives of people affected by domestic violence, a social problem that has become so much worse during this time of sheltering in place. You may donate directly to Sarah's Inn, send a check to Unity Temple with Sarah's Inn in the memo line, or give by text to Unity Temple by following the directions on our webpage.
This is a hymn, everyone, so please join in. Oh freedom, oh freedom, oh freedom, freedom is coming. Oh freedom,
Freedom
oh
is coming.
freedom,
Freedom
oh
is coming.
freedom, freedom is coming.
Oh yes, I
Oh
know.
freedom,
Freedom
oh
is coming.
freedom,
Freedom
oh
is coming.
freedom, freedom is coming.
Oh yes, I know.
Oh yes, I know.
Yes, I know.
Oh yes, I know.
Yes, I know.
Oh yes, I know. Oh yes, I know.
yes, I know.
Oh yes, I
Oh,
know.
yes, I know.
Oh yes, I know.
yes, I know.
Oh yes, I
Freedom is
know.
coming.
Oh yes, oh freedom.
Freedom
Oh
is coming.
freedom.
Freedom
Oh
is coming.
freedom. Freedom is coming.
Oh yes,
Oh
I know.
freedom.
Freedom
Oh
is coming.
freedom.
Freedom
Oh
is
freedom.
coming.
Freedom is coming. Oh yes, I know.
May you be blessed as you embrace the opportunity to recognize that we are all sacred beings and that we can connect with others, even at a distance, and participate in that great turning. It is time now that we thrive, time we lead ourselves into the well. Time, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. May we travel together lightly through this portal of a pandemic that calls us and beckons us to bring forth fused with our deepest values. Blessed be. Amen.
That you blow so sweet among that you go so sweet.